Bonus Bond, Bonanza, Bonus Bond, Bonanza, Bonus Bond, Bonanza, Bonus Bond, Bonanza, Bonus Bond, Bonanza.
What's up, everyone? I'm Shafi Malik, and you're listening to the Who Dropped the Popcorn podcast. The premise is different this week, as we're going to be talking all things James Bond 007. Yes, that's right. We've all watched No Time to Die, the latest James Bond film, on its opening night, and we thought we'd get together to discuss it here and maybe talk other things Bond as well. Joining us to put on their safari suits, board their underwater Lotus, and dance into the fire is Dave McHugh.
Oh, I like to do some things the old-fashioned way.
Andy Newlands.
Mr. Malik, we've been expecting you.
And all the way from the somewhat north of England, Kyle Hammond.
I am invincible!
Oh, shut up, Boris.
Kyle wins.
Kyle wins, yeah.
Here's your warning, we'll be going into heavy spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, we thoroughly recommend you watch it before listening to this. So what I thought I might do is to help the listeners out, I thought I would play a quick fire round question game with you guys. And
Blimey.
Wow.
This is just sort of like a fun thing, but it's mainly for the listeners to sort of gauge
But mainly not
your...
fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, mainly for the listeners to gauge your sort
How
of
stupid
taste
we all are.
in Bond films.
All
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of one by one, I'm going to ask you these quick fire round questions, and it doesn't,
Right.
these answers you give aren't exactly your concrete answers, but it's just sort of like you know what is subconsciously in your head. I'm going to give you a maximum of 5 seconds to answer each question. Okay.
Wow.
So
Ready.
just think of the first thing that comes into your head. Okay.
So this is like the game Joey and Chandler play in Friends, yeah? It is, isn't it? That's where you got it from, Friends.
Are you basically saying Shafi's moniker? Is that what this is?
Well, I don't know. I just think...
Is this your way of saying this is forced fun?
I remember Shafi...
I don't really watch much Friends. I don't.
Yes, you did,
mate. You loved it.
Whatever.
I'm the creepy.
Yeah. All we used to talk about at school was Friends all the time.
Yeah, did you see what Ross was wearing?
I remember Shafi once saying to me, you watch Friends and listen to Oasis, you couldn't be whiter. Just outrageous.
Wow.
That did make me laugh.
Who are you? Are you doing this as like what, Michael Barrymore or like Bradley Walsh, or what's your style of quizinator?
I'm going to be like John Barrowman out of The Movie Game. Do you remember that? Do you remember that show? The Movie Game!
Didn't he recently get arrested?
Okay, so who wants to go first?
Do Dave last, because Dave's the expert, I think.
Yeah. So
Goddamn right.
how about you, Kyle?
I'll go first, mate. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so...
Fucking hell, this is mental.
This is intense.
So, here we go. Favorite Bond opening?
I think this one.
2.
No Time to Die.
Wow.
Okay, favorite Bond outfit?
The blue suit
2.
in the end of Casino Royale.
4.
Wrong.
Dave, shut up. Favorite Bond gadget?
The pen
2.
from Goldeneye.
3. Okay. Favorite Bond car?
Lotus.
1.
Lotus.
Favorite Bond girl?
Jane Seymour, maybe, or the one from Goldeneye. I don't know their names. What they're called? No idea.
Favorite Bond villain? 2. 3.
Scaramanga, maybe.
4.
Yeah.
Favorite Bond song?
Oh my god.
A View to a Kill.
Oh,
Favorite Bond actor?
Daniel Craig, definitely.
And top 3 Bond films in no particular order.
Casino Royale, GoldenEye, and a Roger Moore one.
One
the
film.
one, yeah, the one. I forgot the name of it. The one where Jaws first comes in.
Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
The greatest film ever made.
Stop getting Bond wrong.
Okay. Thanks for that, Kyle. All right, Andy, you're next. Okay, are you ready?
Man. Not really.
Are you ready?
Yes, come on, let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
And here we go. Favorite Bond opening?
GoldenEye.
Favorite Bond outfit?
Daniel Craig in the blue shorts when he comes out the sea. Sexy shit.
Favorite Bond gadget?
Invisible car, Pierce Brosnan, mental.
Favorite Bond car?
The classic Aston Martin that was in No Time to Die, amongst other films. Skyfall, particularly.
Okay, favorite Bond girl?
Ooh, wowzer. I'm going to go with Vespa because of the depth.
I want to change mine. I'm changing mine to Vespa as well. Sorry.
No, you can't change yours.
Too late.
Favorite Bond villain?
Oddjob and Jaws. I can't. They're both just fucking legends.
I was going to say favorite henchman, but I thought we can only really remember like 3. Favorite Bond song? I know you're going to say Madonna.
This is the end. Na 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 na. Da-da. Let the sky fall. That one.
Favorite Bond actor?
Oh God. Roger Moore.
1, 2. Okay,
yes,
and
correct.
And in no particular order, top 3 Bond films.
GoldenEye, Moonraker, No Time to Die.
Wow. Right. Okay. Great. Okay. So Dave, we've given you a bit of advantage of this because you already know the questions. So I mean, you've had like 1 or 2 minutes to sort of think of the answers. So
but I have been drinking quite heavily today, so I haven't. It would have made no difference. First,
that's a regular.
third.
That's a regular sort of occurrence of the podcast.
I've forgotten the questions already.
Okay, so Dave, you ready?
Shoot.
Right, and here we go. Favorite Bond opening?
Octopussy.
Favorite Bond outfit?
Safari suit from Octopussy.
Yes. Favorite Bond gadget?
The crocodile from Octopussy. Yeah, the crocodile. He uses to get to the island.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Favorite Bond car?
The actual Aston Martin Inspector, actually.
Wow.
That's my favorite car ever.
Favorite Bond girl?
My favorite Bond girl is Orgasmatron from GoldenEye.
Favorite Bond villain?
Favorite Bond villain is actually, I know it's boring, but it is Drax. I think there's something about him. He's just so calculated. I love Drax so much, from Moonraker.
Favorite Bond song?
Living Daylights, one of my favorite songs ever.
Favorite Bond actor?
Well, my favorite human, and my tongue is firmly in the middle of my mouth when I say that Roger Moore is like my hero because of the UNICEF stuff. Like Roger Moore is my favorite human in the world, so I can't choose anyone but Roger Moore.
Okay, and in no particular order, top 3 Bond films.
Ironic, it doesn't actually include a Roger Moore film, so I do apologise. But From Russia with Love.
Who are you apologising to?
Roger Moore.
The viewers.
Okay,
Roger Moore's trust.
Okay. Sorry. So what did you say? Sorry, the first one.
So in no particular order, it's From Russia with Love, Casino Royale, and Living Daylights.
Okay, great. So that was fun.
That was awesome, actually. That was fun. There wasn't any caveat to that. That was amazing fun.
I'll take back my inner monologue fears.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the first time Shafi's ever done something fun on this podcast. So that's nice to see.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you're the epicenter of fun in this podcast, aren't you, Dave? That's right. Thanks.
The epicenter.
Wait, were you taking
Dave, my favourite Roger Moore quote is, "My acting range has always been something between the two extremes of Razor's left eyebrow and Razor's right eyebrow." Such a legend.
Okay, so now we are going to go into the portion of the podcast where we talk about No Time to Die. Now, as I said before, I just want to sort of double check with the viewers. We are going to go into massive spoilers in this because there is a lot big spoilers to spoil in this film. So This is your last warning. Please switch off the podcast if you haven't seen it, and unless you do want to be spoiled by the film. But okay,
gets a rocket up his ass, goddamn.
Yeah. Kyle, we're going to start with you. What were your expectations of this film going in?
Fuck me. Worried.
Worried?
Yeah,
why?
Worried because
why?
Because I love Daniel Craig, and there's been 2 great films and 2 not great films. This is the deciding vote. When they first announced the cast, and I saw that a lot of people were coming back from Spectre, I kind of expected the worst, really. Mm-hmm. And then I rewatched Spectre. Well, I didn't rewatch the whole thing. I did a noodles and watched clips of Spectre because to be honest, I'd forgotten nearly all of it.
Lucky you.
What was the atmosphere like when you watched the film? Was it empty? So just to let you guys know, we 3 of us in this podcast all live in Jersey and we all watched the film together, but Kyle does not live in Jersey, so he watched it separately to us. So did you watch it with anyone?
No, I went at 10 o'clock in the morning by myself and there was about 10 people in there.
Okay.
But that's perfect for me, that, mate. I love it. That's fine.
Okay, how about you, Andy? What was your expectations for the film?
I thought it was going to be brilliant, but a bit like Kyle, key phrase there was deciding vote. So on the way to the cinema when I was walking with Dave to meet you, we were both like, wow, this is a legacy film. And like, if this film is good, then I think everybody would look back at Daniel Craig's whole body of work and be like, yeah, he was an awesome Bond. So I wouldn't say I was, anxious or worried, but I had faith that he could pull it off. But yeah, it was definitely like, I've not been to a film for a while where I'm like, God almighty, I hope this works. I pray that this works.
Okay, and thanks for that, Andy. And how about you, Dave? What were your expectations going into this film?
Yeah, so I think I'm the same as everyone. It's something so mad about a 5th Bond film with 2 great ones and 2 pretty poor ones. It's just insane. So it had to be good. An all right Bond, and it's game over. So it had to be good because 3-2 is such a difference. And I saw quite a few 5-star reviews before I watched it. So I dared to dream. I got excited, and my God, it delivered to the max.
Right. Okay, so we'll get to that. For me, I was sort of very, I had my doubts. And I think one of the reasons why is because usually when there's a last minute directorial switch, that normally points to a film that's sort of made out of committee. And, if a film that's sort of like sellotape together, there've been sort of big films that have done that before where they've had to sort of switch director kind of last minute. Sometimes once or twice they've worked, but I was sort of, a bit trepidatious. But then Cary Fukunaga's, he's got a good track record. So, Andy, what were your feelings after you'd left the cinema when the film ended?
So for me, it was just shock, complete and utter shock. I could not believe what happened at the end happened in a James Bond film. So, as the hours passed and I went home, and then the next day, lots of other feelings floated to the top, but I was dumbstruck. I remember leaving. I couldn't even speak to you at the end. I couldn't believe what happened. So shock.
How about you, Kyle?
I think it's good we've not mentioned what the spoiler is yet, but I think that I kind of expected it to happen. I thought the only way Daniel Craig would come back was if that happened.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
He's gone from being, having nothing to lose, to having everything to lose, to then, because of what happens to him, he's lost it all. So there's only one ending really there, isn't there?
Well, the thing is that okay, so we're going into the spoilers. So Bond dies at the end. James Bond dies at the end of No Time to Die. And the funny thing is that I was just like you, Kyle. I was suspecting Bond would die at the end. But I thought I was suspecting
before
that
you
was
went
the reason.
Into the film.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because everyone that's seen it was saying there's spoilers. Do not reveal these spoilers. And then when you hear that, it's like, Yeah, of course he dies. Of course he does.
When the film was in development, I was suspecting he dies at the end because I thought that's why Danny Boyle left, was because I thought that Danny Boyle wanted to kill Bond and the producers were not happy with that. So that, and also the title of the film says No Time to Die. So I thought, oh, well, that means they don't have the balls to kill James Bond. But I agree with you. I kind of suspected it, but then I thought, well, with that title, I'm guessing they're saying, but James Bond is not going to die.
Shaf, say the title like this: No Time to Die.
Okay. All right, very good. Yeah. How about you, Dave? What were your feelings of the film when you left the cinema?
Well, I was blown away. I can't,
so was James Bond.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was actually blown away. I couldn't really take it in. It feels like a sci-fi film to me. I can't take it in. I honestly, I just can't take it in. And that's my opinion on it. I just don't have an opinion on it yet.
As in, you can't take it in, as in there's a lot to process.
Yeah,
Emotionally, or as in the plot doesn't make sense to you, or what is it?
To be fair, that I don't really understand the plot. I don't really get it. I don't really get this dude's vendetta against the whole world. I don't really understand it. I kind of understand it as much as I understood Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was just fucking amazing. When that opening scene where she's under the water and stuff, it's like, what's that? Is there a film where there's some serial killer that stalks a young woman with a mask on? It's just like, am I watching a horror film? And then am I watching a sci-fi film? And then, I kind of knew if someone held a gun to my head and said, is Bond going to die in this film? I'd have said, yes, he's going to die. I kind of felt it coming. And even one of my favorite parts of the film, literally, was in the opening scene, was when it's almost like James is sitting there and the bullets are going right at his head by the glass, which is similar to one of the opening scenes in Casino Royale, where it hits the front of him. But this time it looks like, I think he feels like if he's been betrayed again by someone he loved, he's just ready to die. He's literally sitting there and waiting for that glass to break.
Yeah.
And from that point, I was like, oh my God, this film is fucking off the chain.
I just thought that also that sort of adds to the sort of self-destructiveness of Bond as well. And the fact that he's a heavy drinker, he's one of those people. So yeah, at that point, possibly he is like, I'm ready to sort of finish it all right now because I'm heartbroken.
Yeah. Honestly, man, that's like maybe my favorite bit in the whole film. It's mad. I just love that shot. Bang, bang. How long will this glass last? Will he change his mind? And then he's like, you know what, fuck it, I believe you. And then the machine guns come out, and I'm just like, oh, mate, fucking hell, just stay.
Does he believe her?
No, he doesn't believe her. No, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Well, why does he change his mind?
Because he still puts on the train, didn't he? And says, I'll never see you again.
Yeah, but I think he's just not sure. I think, good, no, fair enough, a good point. He makes a decision not to die then, I guess, yeah.
What's strange, though, is that how long had passed between Spectre and the very beginning of this film?
Yeah, maybe not long at all.
Because I wasn't sold on the relationship at all in Spectre. Were you sold on that relationship though?
No one was, not from Spectre.
So
I know.
In Spectre, it's strange. She hates him, but then they're on the train together, and then she loves him. Yeah. And then when he's in the chair and Bluefeld's injecting him, she's like, "I love you."
He's drilling him, not injecting him.
Well, sorry. But then, 10 minutes later, she's like, "Oh, I don't want this. I'm going," and she just walks away.
Okay, so because this is what I'm going to go into, but let's talk about the low points of the film, what we didn't like about the film, because that's one of the criticisms I will sort of go into. But how about Andy? What were your sort of low points of the film? I think you said you got a very specific thing. I think, haven't you? Yeah.
So let me just caveat that with I love this movie. So you got to remember, I'm the closer to the edge guy on this podcast. Yeah. I'm the Matt Damon fan, yeah? I like cars, I like silly things, I like being entertained. So all I wanted from this movie was, am I watching a James Bond movie? And so I don't, when I say what I'm about to say, I'm in no way slagging off this film because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
However, the only bit that I thought it just went a bit awry was when James Bond met the female spy who said, I've had 3 weeks training. I just thought that I don't know why she she like I don't get it. I don't get why she said
that's my favourite bit of the film. That whole bit is my favourite bit of the film. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like it at all.
That's your Roger Moore bit, mate.
That whole Cuban sequence is so well done. I think.
Was it just a joke? Was it just a joke? Like I've had
what was the point?
Yeah, because at the end of it, he says he actually acknowledges that. He goes 3 weeks, like as if like he finds it hard to believe. So she might not have told the truth.
But what are they doing? Are they setting up she's going to be in future films? Like I don't get that. Why is that? I didn't get it. It just seemed out of place to me. Like 3 weeks and oh right, there we go. We've done the fight scene. Move on with the rest of the film. I didn't get it. But apart from that.
That's what happens. That's the nature of Bond films. Like you have these little set pieces that,
Yeah,
and then
it was
back
brilliant,
to the
Andy.
plot.
Oh, sorry to agree with you, Andy. Disagree. That was the best bit of the film, man. They're quipping, they're drinking, they're shooting people, kicking people.
And I think a lot of people have said about this film, but people feel the sort of opposite to Andy, where they think the low point is the fact that we don't get to see her. Like, she does it. Her presence in the film was very brief, but I kind of like that. Daniel Craig sort of gave this note where she's sort of like the young rookie. If that film had this sort of young, sort of rookie character all throughout, I think possibly it would have overstayed this welcome. So I'm glad that I'm quite glad it was actually quite brief, but because it has more of an impact. I think it sort of brings a bit of brightness into the film. But yeah, I mean,
what I liked to the end was when Bond shakes her hand. He's like, "You were great." It's like it's almost breaking the fourth wall. Then saying, "Yeah, that was great."
yeah, exactly. Like it's like he's saying it to Anna de Armas, isn't he? Saying, you're kind of great in the whole sequence.
I'd rather they cut that out and they did an extra 20 minutes of Rami Malek sat on the floor just by that table, Japanese style. That's
understated. Blade Runner,
or another 20 minutes where James Bond's in that car being shot at, or another 20 minutes where the car is racing through the mountains. Quality James Bond stuff, gadgets.
No,
this podcast is going to split up by the end of this episode. I can feel it.
Don't talk about politics, religion, football, or Bond.
How about you, Dave? What were your low points in the film?
None. Didn't exist.
Really?
It was fucking amazing from start to finish.
Because you said that you were confused that you said like tonally it's like it's a sci-fi film or whatever. You actually enjoyed that part of it.
It wasn't in any way a criticism, and the fact that I don't understand the plot isn't anyone but myself's fault, really. Like, because I accidentally had a quadruple vodka and tomato juice before I watched the film.
Accidentally.
Dave, you had beers at 9 o'clock that morning.
Oh yeah, Happy Bond. Oh yeah, it's Christmas Day, wasn't it? Happy Bond Day for me. Yeah, I started drinking at 9 in the morning. That's right. But funnily enough, I wasn't that drunk by the time I got to the film. 12 hours later. So it was just for me, there is no low point in this film. If I don't understand the plot, it doesn't matter because Rami Malek is so unbelievably good, so wonderfully understated as this insane Bond villain. I love him, man. I love him. I'm tempted to say choose him over Drax. I just love him. He's just so weird. He's just this freak. And he pulls back into a James Bond baddie of old, like rewinding 60 years. He's just he doesn't make sense. What he's doing doesn't make sense. So maybe that is his thing. He's just fucking mental. And man, this film, I have no low, there's no low point for me in this film. The scene in Cuba, I can understand someone not liking it too much, and I can understand someone loving it. For me...
Thank you, Dave. I love you. Thank you.
It sits in between for me. That scene did seem a little bit odd at times. Yes. But it was pretty cool. I still thought it was pretty cool, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is cool, but it's just odd. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Bond always goes on side missions to get to capture
that felt like a different film. It's like, here's 20 minutes of this. What we want old school Bond. We want Rami Malek. We want the island. We want the James Bond fucking old school villains. That's what we want. We don't need this lady fluffing about in a blue dress.
No, it was a big plot point because he stole the technovirus, whatever it was, and he took it on the boat with Felix, and then Prince Anders from Aladdin steals it and kills Felix.
Yeah, the whole scene was cool. I just don't think it needed her. I don't get why they needed to introduce this lady spy lady for 20, 25 minutes. They could have just done it with Bond and Felix, or I just don't get why she.
No.
But why was
No.
she in it? Why was she in it?
Because she.
I know.
Well, I'd rather, to be honest, I would rather see Anna that's not me being a perv, but I'd rather see Anna de Armas do all that action stuff rather than an overweight Felix Leiter like jumping about and shooting people. I would rather, she looked really cool as fuck, like in like an evening
Why couldn't they have
dress.
used like Nomi, like the new 007 lady instead?
Because she's already in that sequence,
Yeah,
but
she's
doing something that's the opposite to what Bond is doing. They're sort of competing.
She's quipping as well, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I don't know.
And also, like
I
love the. I mean, you got Andy says that you actually thought the sequence is cool, and I just love that.
Yeah, it was cool.
You know what I was talking about, regarding Mortal Kombat and how sort of boring the action scenes were. That was a scene where it's virtuoso because it's basically using the geography of the surroundings in order to, they've got to get to this part. Oh no, they've grabbed the scientist, so we've got to get to this part to grab the scientist back, except, and it's so, I love that sequence. I thought
what was the 3-week thing about then? Maybe this is my problem with it. I don't get that.
It was a joke. Get over it,
Is that just meant to be funny?
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah.
It was just
But
saying that she's
funny.
a rookie. It was she like played it really well, but she was basically acting like the excited rookie. And
she was like jizzing. She was jizzing her pants, wasn't she, when she first saw him? And that might have been the show.
She needs to get a fucking grip. She's hanging out with James Bond and she's a spy. She
should be cooler.
I
agree.
Yeah, but Bond's been retired for 5 years. She might never heard of him.
Okay, so Kyle, it's your low point.
That's an outrageous thing to say about James Bond.
Yeah, I think we alluded to it earlier. I think that, and his name was Lucifer Safin, but Big MK referred to him as Lucifer Satan, which I think is quite cool. Yeah, his motives once Blofeld's dead, I didn't get it at all. I've no idea why he's bothered. Why is he bothered?
Yeah, it is really
yeah,
interesting.
that was the thing. And I found the first hour and a half was amazing, and then kind of after that, it was still good, but it kind of teared off. So it went from being probably the best Daniel Craig film to being third.
Wow.
See, my low point of this film is that it's a very, very good film, but I think it's a victim of how bad Spectre is. Because the one scene which I just was like, I just want this to be over, was when we saw Blofeld. I was just like,
God.
I was just like, because one thing is that Christoph Waltz is a good actor, but somehow both of these,
he's not a good actor.
Yeah, he's
not a good actor.
Yeah,
he is one of the best around. Yeah, behaved.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah,
everything he does is gold, man. That is
except, but however,
hello, James.
However,
what's the opening of Django? Oh man, sorry.
It's all right. However, in the previous,
I've got a big fat boner at the minute. Sorry.
The thing is that, but somehow I don't know what it is, but he is just really boring. Like in the previous film and in the scene where it really sort of was a low point in that scene where we get to see Blofeld again and he's in that prison.
It was quite cool, the build-up. I thought the build-up was pretty cool until Blofeld.
Well, I didn't, actually, because the thing is, it just all it did was remind me about how shit Spectre was, and the fact he had that sort of scarring, and it's like trying to remind you that, oh, this is the villain that he's turned into, the villain that you remember from all those classic Bond films.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. It is.
No,
I
didn't. I did not like that. I did.
He's got a bionic eye. He's communicating through his bionic eye. That's quite cool. Just give credit where credit's due. That opening to the point where he sort of meets her it's quite cool. It really does feel like Blade Runner. I don't know what it is. I just constantly see Blade Runner.
Do you know what would have been better? If Bond got a helicopter and picked him up and dropped him down a chimney stack.
Oh, yes.
He pats his head.
Keep your hair on. Mr. Bond.
Yeah, the Blofeld part for me was where I didn't I did not need to be reminded of Blofeld, and I just wanted this to be over regarding but Blofeld. And also, you guys have alluded to it before, and I don't think this is any fault of the actress, but there's no chemistry between Daniel Craig's character and Léa Seydoux's character. Vesper, between him and Vesper, that attraction, that chemistry that is there right from the beginning, and possibly it's got to do with how good the writing is, because the way they sort of play off each other is really good. Where because Spectre didn't have that foundation, it felt like a very boring relationship, and it was only when you see, so another spoiler here, you see Bond's daughter that it starts getting interesting. That Bond feels like, well, these are two people that I need to sort of spend the rest of my life with. So yeah, I think that's my problem, is just that, and it's no fault of this film, because I think it, what would you rather it do? Would you rather it just completely ignore the previous film, or would you make it stand alone? I think I listened to an interview with Daniel Craig, and he says that every film he's tried to make a standalone Bond film, but he felt like it never worked. So that's why he's sort of continued with the previous film that's gone on from it before.
Let's look at how good the relationship with Eva Green was. Like, it was just incredible, because they meet, they kind of have that fun banter on the train. And then she really gives as much as she gets, doesn't she? Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really well written. It's such a great scene. And he looks great. She looks fantastic. I think she's so beautiful, Eva Green. Oh my God. But like, she has just such an incredible beauty. Not like, obviously she's a Bond girl, so of course she's going to be pretty, but there's just something about Eva Green. My gosh, I think she's so beautiful. And then they have that wonderful chemistry on the train where they're taking the piss out of each other and trying to read each other. But then she kind of saves his life, doesn't she? She gets involved in the fight, which is like, shit, I'm just an accountant. I didn't realize I was going to be in some mad stairwell fight. And then, that's quality. And then the shower scene. Yeah, that fight's so good. And then the shower scene is beautiful. And that makes sense. It really does feel like on a Majesty Secret Service level of being in love together and stuff. Because you would be. If you're going through that kind of crazy emotional shit, it's mad. You are going to fall in love. And then, oh man, when she's drowning and stuff, it's just fucking incredible. And she takes that moment to sort of touch his fist as she's drowning and stuff. It's like, fuck, man. Jesus, I'm almost tearing up just thinking about it as he's trying to save her life as the sort of sinks down. It's fucking crazy, man. It's far more than from Majesty Secret Service, actually. It's a lot higher.
They ruined it it was either Spectre or Quantum, where the boyfriend that she was betraying James to steal the money for was actually just some like player who's done it to loads of people before, wasn't a real boyfriend. So that kind of like, they should have left that bit out, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because and James didn't even fuck him up, because I'd have been tempted to fuck that motherfucker up, but he didn't. Yeah. And still, again, that's another kind of plot hole in this. I never really understood Vesper's boyfriend, what he was.
And the thing is that regarding plot and how the nanobot thing works and all that, and also what Rami Malek's sort of motivation is, that doesn't bother me that much, because I kind of accept that these things end up being a little too far-fetched. It's like, it's like kind of like, Spider-Man villains. You sort of like, we just accept that you're going to, even though you're very friendly to Peter Parker at the beginning, you somehow you've got these tentacles and now you want to sort of murder him and murder everyone else. And all I sort of accept at the beginning of the film is that there is someone who wants to destroy the world, and who fuck knows why they want to sort of destroy it. But I think I do agree with, I'm not sure whether Kyle actually said it, but I think that they did not really develop that villain that well, even though I don't think that, I agree with Dave that I don't think it's Rami Malek's fault. I think he did what he could with what was given to him, but it's
a really understated performance, isn't it? It's incredibly understated, but I think it works. Yeah. So maybe just seeing his mum die, like we see that in so many serial killer films. He's just a serial killer. Maybe he's just gone mad as a hatter. And it's clever enough to do something really mental.
He lets Madeline live when she's under the ice. But then like 20 years later or whatever, he's like, oh no, I'm going to kill her.
Yeah, Mike Myers again. But it's just quite interesting. I just love that scene. It's just nuts the way they kind of cut back from him. And, it's just really cool, sort of terrifying shot where he's firing into the ice, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I could see someone that needed me." It's really freaky. He's just a weird motherfucker.
So that opening scene is discussed in Spectre, isn't it?
Didn't he let her survive because he thinks that when she's going to grow up, she's going to lead him to Blofeld and all the rest?
I thought he just said that he sort of wanted to rescue her. He'd never seen someone she needed his help.
Right.
It's like in Manhunter, if like God, when it's like, what is he talking about in Manhunt? It's like, if you do what God does enough, you'll become like a god and stuff. It's just like mad. You'll become wanted and desired. So I don't know. Maybe he's just looking for love. God knows. I don't know, man. He's crazy. He's just a nutcase. Let's just go with that.
Andy, so what were your sort of high points? What was the highlight of the film, would you say?
Oh my God. Right. So the opening for me was so good. I was like, yes. I'm not watching Jason Bourne. I'm not watching just any. I am watching a James Bond film. Aston Martins, beautiful scenery, lovely outfits, guns. Oh, God, Shafi, I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed the opening. And then bang, Billie Eilish. Boom, look at this. This is insane. Lovely music. Score was quality.
Kyle, what do you think of that Billie Eilish song after you've seen that film?
That bit, I went for a piss.
God, this is fucking outrageous. James Bond has been so disrespected tonight.
So I had a really big, because I went in the morning and I had a really big coffee, and I thought, actually, this is probably a good time just to sneak one out before.
I can't believe
it's a 3-hour film. I better go now.
It's a brilliant song. It's a fucking brilliant song.
I still can't get into that Billie Eilish song.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's amazing.
Oh my God.
I want them to bring the drums back into a Bond song. Like, why? What the Sam Smith didn't have? Like, it was just very, where you've just seen a big kind of action sequence, and it's sort of like, let's just take the drum, no drums.
Yeah, but it rises to a
dramatic,
awesome crescendo. We're just like, it's a great Bond song. It's a real heart back to the 60s.
I'm glad you guys like it.
I cannot believe how much this film's getting slagged off. This is outrageous.
Exactly. What the fuck? This is definitely the end of the podcast. Kyle and Shafi can go off on their own podcast.
It's
Andy and
unbelievable.
I will have our own fun podcast that no one ever edits.
We're going to talk about what we love about the film. It's just that I've structured the conversation.
You guys are just slagging it off 10 seconds later.
Andy and I have done nothing but talk about our love for this film. There is nothing that I can slag off about this film. Like I say, if I don't get it, that's my problem, not the writers.
Okay, so Andy, so go on. So yeah, what else did you love about this film?
I loved the fact that it just so basically loads of layers, right? So going back to what you were saying before about Blofeld, I get your points and stuff, but I'm so simple. I love the fact that he's being like in this mad chair and he's slowly going towards James Bond. That I love.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
It's fucking old school. Like, I love the fact that crazy fucking villain is on his own personal island for some fucking reason. God knows where he's got his money from and all the rest of it, but whatever. He's got his own island. I liked that mad scene where they were in that plane that then turns into a submarine and it emerges from the water. Just fucking, this is some Dr. No crazy shit going on here. I liked Q. I liked Q was going to have a date, and then they turned up at the house, and then the James Bond and Moneypenny, you can see them through the doorbell camera. That is some funny shit. I just loved all of it. I just felt it was lovely. And what I also loved was the arc of the character, like seeing James Bond as a dad as well, just, peeling apples and stuff and being in the kitchen. That was fucking lovely. Like, just lovely.
Making a quiche, but...
doing stuff like that. I like the little video game style where he's like going up the levels as well, like defeating all the little dudes before he gets to Cyclops, and again, an old school like villain, like
that was quality.
Cyclops. It's fucking amazing. Like, it just for me, in my simple mind, this film had absolutely everything I needed in a James Bond film. Like, and I know you guys are talking about like the villain, but like it's just like a randomizer, isn't it? What do you need for James Bond villain? Right, fucking insane, something in the past that's made him go mental, disfigured face and a crazy accent. Tick 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 tick.
I think
I love that.
We should move past the whole disfigured villain thing. Come on. It's 2020.
It's a James Bond movie.
It doesn't matter.
Bond. Oh, wow.
Honestly,
these are key points to
if
James
my
Bond.
lovely face got ruined, I'd be fucking furious, and the world is going to pay. If I got burnt or something on my lovely face, that'd be it. I'd be a Bond villain in a matter of days. I think I've got a lovely face. What are you disagreeing with? I'd be so upset.
I want to go to a James Bond film and feel like I'm watching a James Bond film.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what this film did for me.
I will always make fun of Andy for just loving the film, or every film. Each week it's his new favourite film because he's a dumbass that's forgotten the first film. But I'm so on board this week, and this is a special. So I'm going to be nice. Andy and I aren't even going to argue in this special one-off. But don't worry, viewers. We'll be back to the bands next week. But yeah, Andy, you legend. You're all right now that I think about it.
Honestly, I can't fault this film. It gave me everything amazing. I wanted.
It's so good, honestly. It's so unbelievably unreal. It's just, it's more than a film, if I may.
And the stunts as well. Fucking hell. Like, when he's jumping off of bridges, he's going on that motherfucking motorbike.
Yeah, that's a really
doing fucking donuts stunt, in the Aston Martin with the fucking thing. And he's got the fucking watch. Remember the watch as well, guys, when he fucking explodes the eye? These are all James Bond. In fact, fuck Matt Damon and fuck Jason Bourne and fuck all the other spy films. You can keep them. I want my James Bond straight out of fucking the 60s, 70s and 80s. Exactly. Minus the kind of sexist shit and all that.
Because it's kind of a dark humour, isn't it? Because he didn't even know that was going to work. He's just got him in a headlock and it just so happens to sort of deep fry his eyeball. And it's just like, oh shit, awesome. But what triggered the explosion when he went to Vesper's grave? What triggered the explosion?
I don't know. I thought it was just his vicinity to the
laser, Spectre.
I thought that there was some kind of maybe like, I really like the idea of just these mad dudes are just waiting by Vesper's grave, no matter how long it takes. Just like the SES, they'll just sit there and wait until the target arrives. And then Bond just goes to visit Vesper's grave because no one else is going to visit it, and just tripwire or something like that. Boom. They're in a coffee place. They hear the explosion. They go, this is it. We're on. Because it just felt like a bit of a kind of rather drawn out way to kill somebody. I know that's every Bond film, but I was like, shit, bang, boom. They're just waiting for him. It's literally just a booby trap. One day he will go there. Oh man, it's so good.
It was great.
I just love it.
I also like the fact they had a range of Aston Martin. So you saw the DB5, you saw the V8 Vantage, then you saw the DBS Superleggera. It fucking even I don't know if you noticed in one scene where M, and by the way, we need to talk about M and his fucking insane thing. But they had the Aston Martin Valhalla. So for all of us that know our cars and know our history and know our gadgets and love all that from a James Bond film, this film gave you so much. Here we go. It's ridiculous. You should how you can make the sleeping noise when I'm talking about James Bond cars and gadgets is outrageous and is a disgrace to the franchise.
So I'm
leaving this podcast.
Timothy Dalton is back in our world. Timothy Dalton, that is a great car. Oh my God.
My final point on my positivity trend of thought on this film was the forest scene. So I liked the fact that the cars, again, sorry, I'm going on about cars, but when they started the whole fucking chase where he's in that Jeep and the new Land Rover Defenders come and it's a bit, he does fend a few of them off too easy and all the rest of it. But then that scene in the forest for me was just incredible. It was so awesome.
And he was shot so well, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
No, not Return. Oh yeah, Return of Jedi. Yeah. Like
it was so good.
It was beautifully shot that sequence.
So I probably feel about that how you guys feel about the Cuban 3-week thing. So that just to give you an indication of how much I love that bit of the film. It was just lovely, this film. It was like Dave was saying before, it was so many different things throughout, but I felt they all melted together quite nicely.
Kyle, what was your high point of the film?
Quite a few. So the opening as well. I mean, I learned a lot of the opening was in the trailer, but I had not watched the trailer for over a year. So that whole opening was great.
I was furious with myself watching the two.
The forest bit was great. The one shot in the stairwell at the end was great. Favourite bit was the Cuba bit.
Yeah. And how about you, Dave? What's your favourite part of the film?
Well, I'm going to have to hark back to it. Like, it is mad. But so Bond is in this mad situation where everyone else dies, where he's in such a crazy situation, but yet Bond makes a decision where he may, to some extent, commit suicide and let them kill him. And that's bang, just firing at that window at his head. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow. For me, that was just just too unreal. I couldn't imagine being in that situation where you're thinking in that situation. To me, that's one of the finest moments in cinema. I know I'm saying it. It is fucking unreal.
Is that even better than when Hugh Dennis pictures up as a scientist?
I know there's not enough fucking sort of cameos from great British comedy actors. I love Hugh Dennis, actually.
Adrian Edmondson in Last Jedi.
Yeah, just loads of shit.
I did think the Russian scientist was a bit of a rip-off of Boris's character.
Yeah.
But, I kind of was like, am I going to go with this? So I just decided to go with it.
I thought he was going to be a double agent as well. I thought that would have been more interesting.
Can we just take a moment, because Andy mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, but that sequence with Boris and the pen is such an ingenious moment. It really is such a great moment in Bond
I sometimes
history.
do that at my desk at work.
Yeah.
We're talking about GoldenEye, by the way, if you're not sure what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, they know.
Listeners, yeah.
They know.
So sorry to cut you off there, Dave.
Yeah, no, I think I finished my point anyway, don't worry. Yeah, and then what else did I love about this film? Yeah, like pretty much everything. Like literally everything about it.
Did you like the scene where James and M were in the room and James has been a little bit naughty towards M and M's drinking a bit too much, and I thought that was quality.
Again, that's quite interesting because sometimes in Bond films that
bit of a power shift.
Bond is kind of the one in that situation where M's always been quite cool and collective. And actually, I'll tell you what, how good is the scene between M and Pierce Brosnan in GoldenEye? When that is an amazing opening.
Yeah, man. M's such a fucking amazing film character.
Yeah. And then sort of her, like when it's her death at the end of Skyfall, it's incredible, isn't it? That really is incredible stuff. But yeah, no, honestly, I thought it was just unreal. I really did. I thought this film was just unreal. And I'm going to go and watch it tomorrow. It's my day off tomorrow.
I didn't spot it, but there was the bit where you see Judi Dench's picture on the wall, don't you?
Oh, really?
Wow, really?
Yeah, but apparently Bernard Lee's picture was on the wall as well, but I didn't spot that.
I love all that. James Bond is always a different person. M's always a different person. It's just code names for an organisation. It's like you're going around the world saying, I'm Bond, James Bond. No,
that's proved wrong. That's proved wrong when Roger Moore puts flowers on the grave of
it's
George Lazenby's wife, yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Shaf, there is one bit that just to finish off answering your question, I just wanted to mention, and because this is the bit I actually funnily think about all the time, but it's the last couple of minutes of the film. So I think this is a stroke of genius, and I just fucking love it. And as a viewer, I just accepted it. So Bond dies, and then his missus and his daughter are in the car, and then basically she says something along the lines of, "Let me tell you a story about Bond, James Bond." And for me at that point, I was like, fine, yeah, he can die in this film, but there's plenty more stories to come. So I just accepted that, no worries, it doesn't matter that he's died in this film. James Bond goes on forever because there's always a story to tell. I just thought that was amazing writing. I loved it.
Do you know what I hated about that scene? The kid wasn't in a car seat. And I was like, this is bullshit, man. This is bullshit.
Wow.
We're going to drive along the most dangerous roads, and
it's James Bond's daughter. She doesn't need a car. She lives on the edge. She should be fucking driving, if anything. Oh my God.
But that was lovely. That was such a lovely way to end the film.
I just love the idea of just doing some crazy shit like that, waiting for the missiles to land. A bit like sort of Bruce Willis at the end of Armageddon. You just, I'm cool with this. I'm ready to go for the greater good. Yeah.
The song they played at the end is the song from...
Aerosmith.
No.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Louis Armstrong,
All the Time in the World, Not Aerosmith, Dave. Fuck off, man.
Chill out.
It is Aerosmith, you dickhead.
Tonight's like Dave and Andy versus Kyle and Shafi.
Can I just say something? I think
it's your birthday, mate. You can say whatever you like. Happy birthday.
Shafi, happy birthday. 40 today, blimey. My God.
Shafi's got a big dick. Shafi's got a
big dick and it's his birthday.
Do you want to know a scary point? When Daniel Craig shot Casino Royale, he was the same age as me. And I just feel like my life has just been nothing.
Right, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow morning.
Are you sure? I think he's a fair bit young. I thought he was like 36 when he
No,
did
38.
Casino Royale.
Don't make him feel worse.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah.
Jesus.
Kyle,
Wow.
you're going to get your big break now, where you're
Exactly.
you're going to come out of you're going to come out of the water in just a pair of tiny trunks,
Exactly.
and
Apparently chicks
everyone's
like
gonna
the
go
dad
crazy.
bod. Chicks love the dad
Don't say
bod.
this the wrong way, Kyle, but if you get cast as the next James Bond, I'll suck you off.
Pretty funny.
I think there are two things we take for granted. One is how good Daniel Craig is in this film.
Yeah.
And two, how good the action is shot. Now, the first thing is that Daniel Craig is present in every... When I say present, I mean not that he's just there, but he's actually, you believe every single line he delivers, and he is present in every scene of this film, and he acts like he really gives a shit about the film and wants to make a good film. And I think that's something we sort of take for granted. One thing is that he's really, you can tell how much he's having fun, and if you see him in these most recent interviews he's having to promote the film, he's really enjoying himself. There's a world of difference between that Daniel Craig that was in that press conference when it was first announced and the Daniel Craig we see now, because in that first press conference and sort of, the beginning of this whole saga, seeing interviews with him, he was sort of like, and I always sort of stuck up for him. I always thought that he was someone who is not really comfortable with being sort of like a superstar or anything like that. So, it's not every, I think, what Christian Bale said it. He said that I'm an actor. I'm not a star. And, some of these people, they're actors first. So they can't all be Hugh Jackman, where they're sort of big showmen and, they're kind of great, very charming in every interview. But what actually has happened is, throughout this now, is that he's actually progressed to someone who still feels very sort of comfortable in his own skin, and he seems sort of very likable, and that in a way it sort of syncs with the character of Bond from Casino Royale to now, to No Time to Die, because he starts off, these earlier films very sort of stoic and has sort of a chip on his shoulder, which is sort of in sync with those Fleming books anyway. And as those films have progressed, I guess let's not talk about Spectre, but definitely sort of, Skyfall, you could tell he was really enjoying his job. And it's the same with this film as well. You can tell that he wants to make a great film and he's sort of happy to be there. And I think we take that for granted with these type of films anyway, because there are a lot of those, actors that will turn up for a paycheck, but I think he really sort of gives a shit about kind of making the best film possible. Because regarding any sort of James Bond film, everyone's going to show up. No matter how shit the film is going to be, everyone's going to show up. But so he could have reined it in. But the fact is that, you are watching someone who really cares about the film. And I think it's really nice to see, especially with a film of this sort of size and a franchise this big. And secondly, I think, kind of following on from my sort of Mortal Kombat rant, the action here is so well done. Like, and it's something we take for granted, because action films aren't easy to shoot. They're not easy to, especially with those sort of logistics and how the big budgets and the big sequences. All it takes is a really shitty editor or a director who's not interested in action whatsoever to really sort of fuck up these sequences. But
so, that Cuban fight scene, I would agree, that was fucking awesome. So don't get me wrong with that. Like that, I can't fault that. You can't. It was like watching a dance. It was awesome. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. See, which is what I've said in the Mortal Kombat episode. These films should these sequences should feel like a dance. I read a tweet about the fact that martial arts, they were saying that there's a lot of similarities in martial arts films and musicals, and the fact that you watch it and it sort of releases endorphins when you sort of see these people move, so syncopated, and I think, there was criticism of Quantum of Solace, the action not being great because of, bad editing. I think it was they did a really good job of there was not one action sequence where you're like, oh well, they didn't really sort of they sort of slept through it. I think it was really impressive from beginning to end, from an action point of view.
Just going back to your previous point, Shafi, about Daniel Craig being really happy on the press tour. He's got a young daughter, so he's been locked at home for 18 months with his wife and kid. He's probably just like, fucking yes! Freedom!
I'm going to jump off this bridge right now. But
I disagree, Jen, if you're listening. I disagree.
Do you think, it must be fascinating, because when you're making the film, how do you know? It must be just such an interesting thing making a film. You must be so nervous. The script might be great and stuff, but if you're making action sequences and stuff, it must just be mad. Like, shit, is this going to be good? I just don't know until it's over.
How many times would Daniel Craig have had watched it before the premiere?
Apparently, they all watched the film just before the pandemic. They all saw the film before the pandemic.
Wow.
Well, that's a long time to keep a secret then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of 2019, they saw practically a finished cut of the film.
Wow, that's mad.
Holy shit.
Imagine you'd watched it with them. That was your prize that you'd won. Yeah. And you were like one of the only people in the world that had seen it.
Just before I forget, I just want to say that guy who hangs on with Felix is the biggest fucking douchebag I've ever seen on the cinema. I just want that out there.
Yeah. They cast him intentionally for him to be.
Yeah, I know, but that's how good it was. He's such a douchebag. Put me on record. You could tell. Saying that.
I mean, I'm guessing you guys weren't surprised, that he was going to be a double agent, right? I mean, it was obvious, like from the beginning.
He was the biggest douchebag. As the guy from Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, chill out.
He was Prince Anders in the Aladdin remake, which I think is a great film, but there was kind of outrage because they were on about doing a Disney Plus show just about him, and they were just like, wait, the only white guy in the film you're going to do a Disney Plus show about?
It makes sense. Yeah.
What do you mean there's an Aladdin remake?
The Will Smith one, yeah.
Like Will Smith with humour or what?
Yeah, it's live action.
It's directed by Guy Ritchie.
Jesus.
Kyle, I think you wanted to talk about how Bond films have, I would say, not short of like plagiarized, but you can see how other films of the past few years have influenced the current Bond film we're watching. Yeah, so I'm going to talk briefly about previous films and then a fair bit about this one. I'm blatantly going to miss some ones about the previous films. So Moonraker was obviously a clear nod to Star Wars. It came out 2 years later.
What?
Moonraker? Dave, come on,
space, yeah, but be careful. All right, what? Come on. Yeah, so, I'm listening.
Live and Let Die was based on blaxploitation, like how popular blaxploitation was.
Yeah, but I think that was the first blaxploitation film, though. But yeah, carry on, Carl. Good. Try carry on.
And then kind of later, so Bond had always been a bit funny, hadn't it? And then Austin Powers came out, so like, right, we need to take this a bit more gritty. And obviously Jason Bourne was doing well at the time, so the Daniel Craig beginning films were very much kind of Jason Bourne era. And then
bollocks.
Skyfall is just the Dark Knight. You've got like a disfigured man that's been captured. They're interviewing while he's captured. And then for me, this one, what do you think that they've copied as such for this one?
Nothing. Played on a little bit maybe, but that's it.
What was the biggest film, ever, but of the last few years?
Predator.
Avengers?
Yeah, so Avengers Endgame. Ooh. Right, here we go. 5 years later. Ooh. Yeah.
Yep.
The villain. The villain from the previous film dies quite early on in this film. So Thanos dies quite early on, and Blofeld dies quite early on. Like Tony Stark, he was all gung ho until he had everything to lose. So Stark all of a sudden has got a family and a kid. James Bond's got a family and a kid. The heroes die. So Black Widow dies, Felix dies, and then obviously Tony dies and James Bond dies.
Well, I mean, it's all got to do with
quite a good point.
It's all got to do with ending sagas, right? You've got to, if you're ending a whole arc in the Avengers, people are going to die. Characters are going to die that you love, right? So, and that's I kind of knew when they're on that ship, I knew that Felix Leiter was going to die. Like I could just tell.
Yeah,
because you get the feeling from the beginning of the film that in the way that in the way I was sort of watching Avengers Infinity War was that this is all, there's a certain, you're sort of on the edge of your seat. This is sort of an intense experience because these characters that you know and love are going to be expendable. Like, you know, they could have killed Moneypenny. They could have killed M, you know.
Yeah.
It was sort of like who's going to die, who's not going to die. I mean, same way I felt about those Avengers films.
And Scream.
Can I just talk about the ending though? Because we you know, you guys Kyle did sort of mention it, that I think, Andy and Dave are really going to hate me for saying this, but
yeah,
I can't believe this.
I don't think that death would be half as effective if it wasn't for that musical cue of like Louis Armstrong's
the mic drop.
Like, there is something very bittersweet about that song. There's a whole sort of baggage associated with that song, because that is the theme song for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That kind of feels like that film is sort of like the outlier of the whole Bond, you know, films, because it's got the one actor that never played Bond again. It has an ending that is unlike any other Bond film. It was sort of seen as a bit of a disaster as far as Bond films are concerned.
But what's it? I don't know. What's the truth? What is the truth?
No, it was the second biggest film that year, only behind Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yeah, which is
arguably the best film ever made. Viewers, if you haven't seen that,
there are some people that have strong dislike towards that film,
but only because of an insane love for Sean Connery. I'd say it's like Be Here Now, man. It's like Be Here Now. That film, I love that film. I love On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Man, you really do love that film more than me, which is mad.
Yeah. And you know, one thing is it's very romantic, but also that, you know, that song, it's not like a rousing. With these sort of previous Bond songs, they've been sort of very majestic and serious, they've been sort of very serious and very sort of dark, where Louis Armstrong, you've got these sort of warm feelings inside while listening to the song. And I think it was the perfect musical cue, because it makes you feel bittersweet at the end. You're like, you know, you see something that's sort of very tragic, that, you know, this father can't sort of see his wife and daughter anymore. So the circumstances that this father can't see his daughter and his wife anymore, so he decides to sacrifice himself. And, you know, that's something that's very powerful. But the film ends with a daughter, like a legacy that sort of moves on. The people in MI6 sort of kind of move on. The line that M says,
back to work.
Right, back to work, exactly. So it's sort of bittersweet. You kind of have a mixture
of feelings. I totally agree with everything you said there,
I don't think one thing is that I saw someone tweet something. I don't know, maybe we're sort of changing the tone of the conversation here, because someone actually tweeted saying, I've seen the Bond film and I want to warn those people that suffer from PTSD and depression to be careful watching this film. Now, I'm not going to disagree with that sentiment. I think that's an important thing to say. However, I think the film it's not a completely dark ending, because I think there is brightness at the end of this film. And, you know, it just goes to show the power of a good musical cue at the end. Because I think if it'd been, let's say if they ended with that Billie Eilish song, I think I would have felt less. I wouldn't have been that as sort of invested in that moment. But I think that pick of that song, the Louis Armstrong song, I think was just such a beautiful, like, cherry on top of the film.
I just had a random thought of when Rami Malek comes on screen, just Billie Eilish goes, "I'm a bad guy." Do 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 do. Yeah. I've got quite a bit to say about the score, Shafi, if you want to do that now. Or
yeah, but can I just say that regarding like good musical cues, so this is kind of very random, but Star Trek 2009, that film has an opening sequence where where basically Captain Kirk's father dies in a similar circumstance, the way that Bond dies at the end of that film. And the thing is that it's quite sad, and it's quite like Michael Giacchino, or, you know, he does a really great job with that score. And the fact that it's sort of very kind of emotional when he says "I love you" and he sort of explodes in the starship. But then it transitions to the title, the title of Star Trek, and you hear the duh, 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 duh. Like it makes you sort of want to like pump your fist in the air, like yes, I'm ready to sort of start this film. Man. And I think it's just what I'm saying is those are two sequences that are sort of punctuated by a musical really cue. Point. It's all got to do with the power of music regarding its relationship with film.
And then you get the Beastie Boys as well, don't you?
The Beastie Boys straight after, yeah.
I love that opening. It's just, oh God, I love that scene so much.
Chris Hemsworth debut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's mad.
They were going to do a time travel film, weren't they, with both Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, but they both demanded like 30 million each, so they were just like, Bargain. No, you're all right, mate.
But I love that sequence where he's sort of trying to evade police capture in that really, really old-fashioned car. I love that. It's so good. I can't stand it. It's so good. Oh.
So Kyle, what did you want to say?
No, just quickly, going back to Star Trek and James Bond, they both do the name, the part from Spectre is like, my name is Blofeld. It's very much my name is Khan. He's like, we know. Yeah, so going back to the, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, so that All the Time in the World, the kind of orchestral theme was used, the piece of music where they're in Italy. That bit was used throughout there. Yeah. And then the main theme from On Her Majesty's Secret Service was used in the bit where he first goes back to MI6 as well. Yeah,
I was so excited at that. I love that. Yeah.
This was done by Hans Zimmer, and Hans Zimmer seems to do kind of everything at the minute. So he's done like The Dark Knight. He does all the Christopher Nolan films, basically.
And everything for the last 25 years.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing like before Nolan, he's been doing sort of lots of iconic scores, isn't he?
Injection from Mission Impossible 2. I love that song. That is a song.
So the part where James visits Vesper's grave and it explodes, that song is called Message from an Old Friend, and it's very much like a low hum noise and then very much like a kind of orchestral stab. So dun, dun, which is very similar to what he did in The Dark Knight with Always a Catch, which was the part where the truck flips. There's a weird kind of like low orchestral hum and then dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Hans Zimmer he has his own tricks and stuff, doesn't he? But what I also found was the bit at the end which is called Final Ascent, where James is kind of climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
The music he created was very similar to the main theme from Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It did sound very similar. Yeah, I agree.
Adagio in D minor from Sunshine, it's called,
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not him, is it? That Adagio, that kind of...
No, I forgot who it was. It's someone else. Sorry.
Because that's really sits in that same genre, but it's not him.
We've had chat on text, though, haven't we, Dave? That song's been used in multiple films.
Because it's used in Kick-Ass, isn't it? When Nicolas Cage is dying, right?
Yeah. I'm sure the first time that's ever been used was in Sunshine. That's the earliest I've seen it. And then,
in fact, I'll put some links to the songs in the description for this.
So and it just seems to have always been used because the Time song as well is very similar from
Inception,
sorry, yeah.
Also, Johnny motherfucking Marr plays guitar on this soundtrack.
Yeah. And he did that for Inception, didn't he?
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2 and quite a lot of Hans Zimmer stuff.
In Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh, was it Amazing
Spider-Man 2?
Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
Which I've never seen.
That's an odd score. So has anyone got anything else to say about this film?
Yeah, quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I could talk all night. I've got a big coffee here.
I'm just going to
my battery is dying slowly, but
I'm going to go through some bullet points. So this is the first time ever that the barrel scene has not had blood at the beginning.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think why. And I actually sent Dave a picture. So the bit where the opening scene, or the opening part, where James is in his car with Madeline, there's like a panned out shot, and there's three church bells, and the car's in between them. And I just thought that was a premonition, maybe, of for whom the bell tolls, sort of giving you a hint that it's gonna die later. Yeah, Chekhov's gun was under the sink when Madeline shoots Safin. And did you know that Léa Seydoux is the heir to the Pathé fortune?
Really? That's really?
Yeah, so her grandfather owns Pathé and is worth $6.4 billion.
Sweet. Wow.
Has Andy fallen asleep?
No, I mean,
Carl said, oh, yeah, so I've got some bullet points, and Newton's just boom.
It's revenge about the cars. What's the 007? What's her name? I can't remember what her name is.
Nomi.
Yeah, Nomi. I think.
Shit, do you know what? We have not talked about her at all. I think it's bad that we haven't. Yeah, I think she was great as well.
She's amazing.
She was badass.
All the fucking gammons were saying, oh, they've got a black 00 and a female, blah, blah, blah. She's going to take over the film. But to be honest, she's a very small character, isn't she, in it? And she's great.
Why we didn't mention her? Because she was just so understated. She was just cool.
And the fact that she's so classy and said...
Is she a small character?
Nah, she's not
she
a
has
small
quite
character.
a good presence throughout the film. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, but she's understated. She's understated, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
doesn't have massive amounts of dialogue, really, though, does she?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is she doesn't have that much dialogue, but she has quite a
you remember her, though, man,
presence.
Big time. Yeah.
She affects you.
Yeah.
I thought she was classy. Like when she basically gave the number back to James. What a brilliant way of just saying,
like
do you know
reinstate.
What? Yeah, you
My
can
man.
have it. Like
My man.
I thought that was wonderful. Fucking hell, I love this film. I need to convey how good this film is.
Okay, so let's hear everyone's one-word review.
It's the one-word review. The one-word review. The one-word review from us to you.
Except for Dave, who says,
It's the best.
Kyle, what's your one-word review of this film?
End the game.
Ooh, cheeky.
Andy, what's your one-word review of the film?
Right, I'm really sorry. This film is so good, and it's the best film that we've done on the podcast. So
It's the best.
I'm saying 3. I'm saying 3. Like Dave was allowed. So I am saying for this film, Bond. James Bond.
Okay, how about you, Dave? What's your one-word review of the film? Bear in mind, I don't have that much battery left, so...
I guess my one-word review would be spectacular. Yeah, I'll go with spectacular.
You're just trying to remind me of Spectre. That's what you're trying to do.
Cheeky.
What about yours then, Shafi?
My one-word review... I haven't thought about my one-word review. My one-word review is...
It'd be so fun if your battery ran out now, and that's how the podcast ends.
My one-word review is...
My one-word review is cheers.
Wow.
Yeah, a good send-off. Yeah.
Raising a glass as a toast. Cheers. Is that the end of the recording? So should we do socials?
I'll take us home. You can get in touch with us. Please send any questions, comments, praise, hate mail, or one-word reviews to whodropthepopcorn@gmail.com, or follow, harass us on Twitter @whopopcorn or on Instagram @whodropthepopcorn. Just quickly, I put a Mortal Kombat post on the other day, which was liked by Max Huang, who played Kung Lao in the Mortal Kombat film.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Oh my God, Max Wang!
We're getting out there, lads. You can also leave a review on your podcast app, and please remember, like and subscribe. You've been listening to Who Dropped the Popcorn. We really appreciate it. See you soon.